Hello everyone and welcome to the GameStar Season 4 qualifiers for Heroes of the Storm in A and Z. I am GL Phoenix and I'll be bringing you through some of the off-stream games for the playoffs, and as we can see on the screen there is the bracket and the way the day's games will be going. So we have Nomia in Crimson and also Darksided and NMD in the upper bracket, and actually the game right now, which we are already into the draft of, is going to be NMD up against Darksided. So if I just move that, alright, so coming into season 4, there's a lot of hype around some of the roster changes that we saw in the scene, with Nomia notably losing 2 of their players, Darksided picking up one of those in Robodoba. So very interested to see how this first showing with this new lineup is going to end up going. And on the other side, NMD, they've also picked up some pretty big names themselves. They picked up Vikrak, who was dropped from the Darksided lineup, and also I believe on their roster they do have the Shadow, who was a very solid support player from the Trump Sports lineup, which did end up disbanding at the end of Season 3. So they have a lot of talent, which kind of went under the radar considering some of the big high-profile changes throughout the scene. So very interested to see how they also go in this season, but we are already a decent way through this first map of Towers of Doom, and already picking up the Tassadar. They also round out their first half of the draft with the Diablo and the Greymane, whereas on the other side, Darksided, they have the Genji, they have the Uther. We've seen it for months and months now. Moves on that Uther has been so serviceable for Darksided. Very, very strong pick, and with the Genji, he's going to be he's going to be allowed to be so free, so much more freedom throughout these fights. So very strong start to the draft, and actually coming into the next bans, they are going to be taking away the Lunara, who has been seen coming up more and more over the past months, and we saw throughout the Western Clash just how powerful that hero can be. And now we're looking at NMD's next ban, and it is looking like it's going to be that Stitches, who, looking at what Darksided already have, really can make the most of that pick. So it's not going to be on the board for them. I have to look for something else. There are still quite a few good options when it comes to the tanks, the warriors, for Darksided to pick up. There's things like the Muradin, which has been jumping a little bit more. We even saw a fair amount of ETC popping up throughout both East and Western clashes. So it'll be interesting to see if they go towards that. But so far, they're not really giving too much away with the Genji and the Uther. It does allow them to be quite flexible with what they want to go with for the rest of their draft. Do they want to go for something like a Tyrael and facilitate that kind of diving composition and really put a lot of pressure onto the NMD lineup? Do they want to take away something like the Illidan, who could work really well with what NMD already have, and would also have a little bit of trouble dealing with outside of the crowd control from the Diablo. I'm going to be picking up the Anubarak and the Leeming as a combination, not wanting to allow the Leeming to go over to NMD to just bust through that Anubarak cocoon. They have a lot of tools to work with when it comes to crowd control now on the side of Darksided. And just looking at the roster with Robodoba coming into the lineup, he brings up some very, very solid warrior play with him. He has been one of the most stable members on the Nomia lineup for well over a year. And now that he's switching teams, it's going to be very interesting to see how he works with a different team dynamic and just how the whole team works around that. And now into the last couple of picks for NMD. It's going to be the Malfurion and the Arthur, so just leaving that Greymane as the primary DPS with the Tassadar helping out, and that is an incredibly solid front line with that Diablo and the Arthur. It's going to be very tough for this Genji to really lock down or get enough damage down onto these members of NMD. A very solid lineup from NMD. And it is a map that you can kind of play around those very solid lines just by playing the map a little bit better. And with this Leoric I feel as though Darkseid do have some rather solid tools to do that. They can almost play a 4-1, and the Leoric with the Spectral Walk being able to just clear lanes really quickly and just almost play a Zul-like role, just clearing lanes and allowing the rest of the team to apply pressure in a single lane, could be what they end up going with. Try and force NMD into some awkward situations where they just aren't going to be as comfortable. But we are getting into the first game of the night. It is NMD up against Darksided, and Towers of Doom. This is the best of 3, so however this first one goes, there's still a chance for a comeback. But we are going to be getting into the game very shortly as we do this. So just going back to that playoff bracket, let me just bring that back up just quickly. There we go. Yeah, because on the bottom side were the 4 teams that made it out of the Swiss bracket, or the Swiss tournament on the previous week, and they will be fighting to try and get into those top 4 seeds, as it will be no doubt explained as we get through the weeks. And as we get into the game,
the battle begins in 10 seconds.
I believe that is out of place. Wonderful. Let me just quickly these up. Really great production quality. I'm sorry about this. I figured I had it all sorted out until I managed to get into the game. Anyway, here we are. A little bit of tackling going on, a little bit of position. They're trying to clear the way as quick as possible so that they can move on to the rest of the map. We have the Leoric going, which can be good, but on the bottom side, a lot of damage, but a lot of Cracker Roll going down. He is going to be first victim of this game. Is a little bit too much time control coming out of that Diablo. The damage is going for NMD at the start of this game. Even though it was a nice pickup there for NMD, just yet they are the minor bit of experience behind these early kills. Although they are nice for morale, you want to be at least put the fear of God into your opponents. You're not going to give up too much early kills. It's those later ones where those depth timings really start to stack up. Really. And now with these numbers coming up, they are going to immediately start on their own, trying to find out some of those structural advantages. But we do have the altars coming up. Doesn't the leech, so he's going to back away. It looks like NMD, as like I was mentioning, a potential 4-1 coming out of Darkseid. NMD has a very similar strategy in mind, and they're just really trying to apply as much pressure as possible on this bottom side of the map, and Darkseid is just
go forth and claim the altars in my name.
Not even
the Raven Lord demands it.
Interrupt Vicrack. Let the assault begin. A bit of a scuffle. This could drag out for quite some time, but meanwhile on the top side, Vicrack is going to end up getting help from Ninja and Grain out.
And mine alone.
Physics does get in there in time on the Tassar to interrupt that kill, and now it is going to be just be back and forth. Try and get position on this also. Very low. He's going to just manage to back himself away and almost take down the Tassar. The Dimensional Shift is there in time to help him out, but nicely done there from Darkseid. It's going to give them the space to try and take this. The Moonfire is going to manage to interrupt him though, so this could last for even longer. Feels are still there from both sides to keep on interrupting. We have the shurikens on the Genji, we have all of the switch-ups flying in from the left wing. We also have on the other side, we have the cocktails flying through, but there's only so long the distance can go on. With Bigrak coming down as well, he is of course away from the Genji. It is going to be good once he goes over from NMD.
Another vision right.
He's going to be forced to burrow charging away, and the cycles that they took earlier, and they were able to take an extra tower and see all of the other one, which is a minor experience lead coming to the blue side, but it's not being having too much just yet. It's still too early to get too excited about experience leads just yet. It's when we start to see them start to blow out a little bit too much, and when we really start to push down some of these matches is when we really start to see where the disparities in quality is. We do have Sabicans taken from both sides. There's no downside. I want to try and get in there. Working away. Barracharge does land in onto the Rayman. He's going to start slacking himself down a bit, so it's going to be a bit of a question. But he's not going to get too much out of it as NMD already half the level in the lead. Looks like he got forward, and now we've got she doesn't manage to hit him with Barracharge. He does get him with the Impale. Still down to the end of Dark Side. Demise forced to back away. A lot of damage coming in from Ninja on this Rayman. He's so much work with the top now, but it is only going to get worse and worse as this game goes on. And a lot of pressure coming in from this try and get this bell tower, try and force Darkside to force him to play a very reactive game instead of trying one really to get him a lot of damage. He'll come onto the dimensional shift. Very, very nice play coming out of them. But we do have the ulti coming up. Half a level lead in favor of NMD, but actually as I missed that, Diablo just getting taken out by the double tank lineup of Darksided, and they're going to have a nice bit of room to try and get aggressive on that, try and get at least maybe both of these ultras. They will get theirs
Take
first
the
while
altars
having the
and
rest
put
of
an
the team
end.
away onto the start the channel. They do interrupt it just in time as it takes a bit. And a nice Arcane Orb does land. Force away just a little bit. Play a little bit careful. It's still the minor. It's basically nice. Trying to get that catch again, but Darksided is going to keep on throwing in those different missiles and also this Arcane Orb. A lot of damage. He's going to be forced to get back over. Very delicate tug of war, and now that Darksided has pushed most of the enemies away, it is going to allow Darksided to start to get some position on the point, even though it looks like NMD will end up getting the point. The experience normalized. Like as having taken a lot of damage, to reflect and give himself a lot of damage. Looks like both things are going. NMD will have the first go of heroics, but I'm not sure if they're going to have too many opportunities to make the most of that. Quite actively and quite cautiously now that they realise that Over is going to be pushing on the top. He has extended all of the ammo on the top map. Meanwhile, we do have Ninja and Hiccup just walking in, using that lead the way into the dark side. He's going to get that. Onto Genji. He's going to be silent. That's going to be the first kill of this fight, and using this other Sabagan. This bell tower falling in favor of NMD. Now the heroics are picking up for the dark side, but they can't really do anything about it. They can't do it. They'll change the barrows just before he managed to get locked down to the fire. It's still one Sabagan hitting for Shotgun. Still have to take care of. They don't want to lose any unnecessary shots. This is going to be flipped over, and if he does get used, is going to be enough to help out in they do manage to hold off that push. The Sapphire was defeated just in time, so nicely done there from Downside to mitigate the amount of damage done to their core. But with this ultra spawning on the bottom side of the map and this bell tower still being in favor of NMD, nice position for them to get some extra shuttles. You see that tries to complete the build really coming into its own again. So do have top side of this fight. Sarshan going to try and at least get in, stall a little bit to at least allow the rest of the team to clip that bell tower over, which they have managed to do. It looks like we're going to get all 5 runs of both sides here. It looks like Heroes are only just now going to have 4 both sides. Top and 5 as we do also available for the pile. Coming in with the Genji to try and we're going to get the engagement as this is taking so much damage that he's going to get drawn as the response from NMD is not there just yet. It's going to help out he's more free to do a lot of the damage as Roboto is going to be just going off the Darkside and Ball, and it looks like the rest of the team is not be able to help out too much as it's starting to go very low as the healing is not enough from for the amount of damage coming out from the NMD lineup. So this is going to start working his way off the point, but this is a tale of several angles. It's all over the place. Roboto is going to be here much before the Grey Maiden with Hiccup returning to try and get the bouncer. This is going to end up with Dark Side picking up kills left and right. They pick up 2. They will be able to pick up this Ultra. Oh, they can start to apply pressure around the map. They realized that they were going to have that man advantage with the Grey Man slow coming back from respawn, and also with Pickup going back to Fountain. It gave that little bit of extra room for Darkside to get in there. They pick up those extra kills, and it has equalized the core health. Now we're out to even game, and it is a really close one, a really nice start to the season for both of these teams. Very much looking forward to seeing how this Darkside alliance does going with this, bringing in Roboto, who is such a veteran on the scene. I'm not sure this is the kind of start to the season they necessarily wanted. They want to start on the right foot. There's still a long way to go. There's still 28 HP on both cores. Still a lot of game to play, still a lot of the series to play. Makes a lot of damage. He managed to burrow himself away. A lot of rushing up but this is to keep on pushing in, and Hope is going to help out in at least forcing away. We're going to see that Red Hope build decent amount of work against that HP target of very delicate push from both sides. So it's going to come in right before. There we get too much done. This is just ending up as a 5v5 brawl on the bottom map. These people coming out of the Grey Men are starting to
Heroes, I have opened a tunnel near our core, revealing the battle.
Forward with the teleport. I need a little more pressure down on the pickup. Taking a lot of damage. He has to get himself out of there. Should in enough to keep him alive just a bit longer, but we can see just how much damage this Grey Man is doing. We can see a lot of it is on the others. The amount of healing coming out. He's able to keep the rest of the team in there. We do have a lot of the damage from this game coming out from the lane in, which especially when we get to these situations where we're just picking around ultras. We're trying to take a lot of damage to teleport away. This is going to be actually physics does interrupted by hacking. The coverage does not move, and it looks like he's going to take a lot of damage. Has to use Dragon Blade just to get himself out of there. He does get the blind shield from the down. He's trying to get back in there. Boomerang doesn't have to manage to give himself sustained in the fight in there. They does get used, and they will lose the Arthas Nice stuff for Darksiders. The ulti did get taken by NMD, but the fight is not going in their favor. They did manage to get the second ulti as well, so 2 ulti picked up for NMD, but they are looking to lose the fight. Diablo Force, that is going to be all of those souls down the drain, and they're not able to get any kind of rebuttal in that fight. So it's going to be 3 kills over to Darksider. They did lose those ultis, but now they had the room to try and get some aggressive on the bottom side of the map. The bullet does get used, but able to make the most of that. It looks like Darksider, with this little bit of extra space, they are going to end up just going for this box. They realize that they're not going to be able to get too much away. So they are using the man advantage to just look away on this box. It is going to reveal that is what the play is going to be, and it's a little bit too late. So still anyone's game. Those 2 ulters coming out from NMD have helped keep them ahead when it comes to the core help, but we're starting to see, as these fights go on, Darksided are getting these little advantages here and there, but they're going to start translating those into the objectives. It looks like NMD aren't going to be able to switch this bell power over yet again, and it's going to be something that Darksiders are going to have to deal with. It looks like they're not going to be able to switch this top one over in time, so it is going to be something to deal with, especially as these 3 ultras come out, as we do get the engagement, and Lee Ming is absolutely demolished as Hackney's trying to get out of them. It gets locked down as well, and that's going to be nice. 2 kills at a perfect time coming out for NMD. So they have the room to try and get as much out of this play as possible. We do have Vikrak trying to interrupt anyone, but something does not manage to secure that ulti. Moves does secure the one on their own side of the map, but it is going to end up being just 2 ultras over to the side of NMD. Rabbitover moving does not want to go too much further, but with that extra bell tower on the side of NMD, those extra 2 shots really starting to make their power known, as it is down to 10 HP. Not much left to be done in this game. There's only a few big plays coming out from NMD on what they need to secure this first game, and what a statement that would be. Started coming in with this big name side of Rabbitover. Kind of flying under the radar, this NMD lineup picking up Vikrak, and against his old team, doing a very serviceable job for them to actually get the first win of the season under their belt. Do absolute wonders for their competition. A little bit more help left on the gold tower for it to get switched over, but it looks like the rest of NMD, they don't want to allow it to go over. They don't engage with it, able to get it over power, and Darksiders, they need to stop these Sanchez because they do go aggressive onto Sanchez, and does manage to get himself a little bit closer to his base. Divine has to get used just to get himself out of there. Oh, and it is going to be the Li Ming falling. The cocktail build doing a little bit too much. It looks like actually 2 of those sappers are going to go through, and just going from bad to worse for Darksiders. They're losing members. They do end up flipping over that bell tower on the bottom side, but it's just so much power on the side of NMD. They really need 2 ultras left. They can play this whenever they want. It is going to be just a single ultra in the middle. They are trying to get a little bit onto this new one. It does manage to get signed by the Silent Dream. There's not enough help there. The Dragon Blade coming out of Packy is coming through, but it's just not enough. Without that lead, being Dragon Blade coming out, he's not able to get anyone even close to low. There's no sustainability and durability coming out of this NMD lineup. It's just way too much for this Darksiders line to deal with, and with that extra bell tower on the side of NMD, they're going to pick up another 5 shots. Only 3 left. They are able to get the full Sapper Camp into the base of Darksiders, or just a single ulti is what is left. That is going to be game 1. But Darksiders are still in it. Elder Doom is one of those maps where it doesn't necessarily matter how the start of the game is going. As long as you can hold on to at least one that's come out, but the damage is not there at all. A very nice defensive pocket does help out in that regard. And the rest of the team can come along to help out with this push on the bottom side of the map. We're doing that outside of this fight. Martin taking a decent amount of pressure from Vic, actually he's going to be forced back. Darkseid just don't have the tools to repel this aggressive pushing coming out on They're trying to get kills there. Essentially what that competition is trying to do, they want to get those kills, they want to get those big resets, let that Liming, let that Genji rip through the lineup, but it is unable to do so with the Arthurs and the Diablo being so durable with the healing and the shield coming out of the it's not able to just punch through that lineup. And with two ultras coming up now, and with that ult, that bell tower going over to NMD, it's going to be very hard for us to try and get into it. It's going to be a fight on 2 fronts. They need to get forward to try and interrupt any potential ultra play. The team does get dropped, allows the rest of Darkseid to try and start and move their way forward, but they can't move their way through the bell tower. Nothing they can do. Physics on the bottom side is going to start working its way on that. Also, Happy is trying to get forward. Happy is just going to continue to interrupt, but the rest of the team is unable to do anything at this point. Happy hacking and slashing his way as the healing from Moves is helping out. They're actually able to hold on just long enough. The redemption coming in from Moves is helping so much, and the endless Dragon Blade is helping, and they're actually able to turn this fight as they are cleaning up the members of NMD, and they survive against all odds. Darkseid have managed to hold on for just a little bit longer. Wow, they managed to hold on. They are in an incredibly rough position. They can't try and delay this any longer. They have to just take what they can and just cap these altars. They are going to be able to turn over to get at least 4 on that second altar. And with these death timers, they can start to play around the map to try and get some pressure, try and get some bell towers in their favor. But
lost.
Oh, this is so close right now. They realize that they cannot take any chances around the map. With these death timers, Darkseid are going to start working their way towards this boss. Just take that off as a potential option for enemies to finish up this match. Oh no, this could be that comeback coming off the Darkseid. As I was saying, this is one of those maps where it doesn't matter. You could be down 40 HP to 1 on your core, and as long as that 1 HP remains, you are still in this game. Although they are still in it. Darkseid have to be very cautious with how they play this. They do get a lockdown on the hiccup. The Intriguers come in. Apocalypse is not there. It's a few seconds off. They didn't manage to get that kill. That's a full death timer. No souls to help out there, and that's a lot of the front lines out of the way for NMD. So nice pick up there for Darkseid. With only 11 HP left on that core for NMD, it's still a very likely possibility that Darkseid can turn this one around. This is getting really, really close towards this end.
Once more, the altars rise
game, as
from the
it's going to be just a single altar, and with all the members on the bottom side of the map, it's still 25 seconds on the death timer for it's going to take quite some time to get back into the fight as well, so quite a bit of time that Darkseid can use to apply pressure on the bottom side of the map, at least force down this bell tower, give them a little bit more room to give them the space to start working this bell tower, try and get that little extra shot in. They'll be able to get that. It looks like Genji is Hacky on the Genji is just going to secure this bell tower. Really not much for NMD can do. They are playing it very cautiously. They know that they don't need to overextend just yet. They have enough HP on their core to work with, that they don't need to overextend to deny NMD shots. Oh, and Robodover taking a lot of damage. He does get the red walk out. He will manage to survive only barely, but a lot of damage as he's left forward, but doesn't get anything out of it. Robodover is going to kill himself up, and it looks like the fight is going to keep on going. We're going to get a lot of damage there. But the Dragon Blade in onto the hacking and slicing the Genji into others. First of all, they're taking so much damage and they just blow up. And here comes that combination of the Li Ming and the Genji, and they absolutely wipe the floor with NMD, and this could just be the game with the massive death timers. It looks like Darksided are going to be able to do it. They are going to be able to turn this fight around, turn this game around. They will be able to get all 6 of the bell towers. There's absolutely nothing that NMD can do, and oh my god, Darksided, against all odds, they managed to survive, and they turned this game around. Like, I am so happy with how this game has gone. It was an absolute cracker, and NMD doing so well for so long, but that fight over that bottom altar and hacking on that Genji, getting that level 20, getting the unending, the dragon becoming the unending Dragon Blade, was able to stall so long, and moves here did the kamikaze play. He managed to use his devotion asset to keep him alive, and that is going to be those last shots, and oh my god, against all odds, Darksided take game 1 of this best of 3 series, and wow.